What's up, guys? The Iceman here, doing his first video of this day, Sunday, about 6.5 hours away from the WWE's Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Um, Looking forward to watching it. But in the meantime, we got like some time in between now and the pay-per-view, and I was reading a lot of wrestling news and whatnot, and a lot of the NXT stars are a little concerned because there's been a lot of releases. WWE is bringing some people up to the main product, but that has to make a lot of the other guys on the roster a little bit worried too, because to make room for these guys, or just with a few guys coming up, that means when it comes TV time, there's going to be a lot of these guys probably being slighted for any kind of TV time. Granted, they'll be at the house shows, they'll perform live in front of an audience, but you got to look at it this way too. You start doing your house shows, you get the fan or the crowd behind you. The WWE sees and understands that you're getting popular, and so then every now and then they throw you on TV, see how the reaction is going to be, and if it's a very positive reaction, then you're going to see more and more of TV time. So that's really, you know, when you come up, the house shows are really the thing that really starts you off. So, it's not a bad thing for these new guys, but the bad thing there is when you bring up new talent, the present day talent, a lot of the mid carders and whatnot will see less of their airtime. So look at Extreme Rules pay per view tonight. Where is Dolph Ziggler? Where's Sandow? Um, where's Alberto Del Rio? I mean, really, when it comes down to it, um, three guys that all were going for the uh, major title in the WWE. Two of them, in fact, had major titles in the WWE. So it shows you how quickly you can rise to the top and how quickly you can fall back down. And this is what's happening to like Dolph Ziggler, Sandow, Alberto Del Rio. And with this happening and NXT stars coming up, everybody has to be a little bit on edge, because they don't want to lose their positioning here in the WWE. And, you know, the more popular you are, whether you're a face or a heel, the more money you're going to make. Um, and with that being said, as well, with merchandise selling too. So, I don't know. With Global Force Wrestling, it's interesting because Jared has not been gone from TNA for a very long time. And whether or not he had this in the works prior to leaving or not, if he didn't, he sure has done a heck of a lot to really get this promotion, moving forward. He's looking for his TV contract. He's got backers. Um, he's getting affiliated with Mexican wrestling. Um, and what I'm looking at here is with some of these guys in the WWE that aren't being used and contracts are coming up, maybe Jeff Jarrett will say, hey, to like maybe a Dolph Ziggler, I think his contract ends next year or at the end of this year. It's like around a year anyway. Hey, Dolph, you know, come to my promotion, sign a contract, we'll make you a champion. And, you know, he can make himself very big in another promotion. So, whether or not that's going to happen or not remains to be seen. But I'm sure this has got to be on some of these mid carders' minds that, well, hey, I may be going to a smaller promotion, but I could be a top star there. And, if the money's right, it might be well worth it. So, yeah, it's sort of interesting how the WWE one minute you're being pushed, and the next minute, you know, nobody knows who you are, and it's happened quite so often. And I can understand if the gimmick and the character doesn't work, it isn't making money, it doesn't draw. I can see putting an end to it, but what I don't understand is bringing back a lot of these older guys, um, where their time is past. I mean, we saw the Outlaws. Don't get me wrong, I thought the Outlaws were very prepared. Uh, they still are very, very good, but you have to understand, if they weren't friends with Triple H, they probably would not have been tag team champions for the time that they were. They would not have been on WrestleMania. I mean, that's just how it is. Um, so, I mean, you got Dave Batista to come back. You know, he immediately wins the Rumble and gets a title shot at WrestleMania. Not even back a full month. Gets a title shot at WrestleMania, and you have guys that are busting their butt in the locker room day in and day out, night in and night out, and they go nowhere. And you got the morale probably in the locker room for a lot of these guys is probably very, very low because they don't see themselves ever getting to the main event. Uh, they very rarely see themselves probably getting on TV, but yet you'll see a guy like Batista who quit the WWE like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, and then all of a sudden comes back and becomes main event status. And then, as well, Triple H has been talking with Ric Flair. He's back in the WWE. Triple H told Flair, you get your life straightened out, and we're going to use you more on TV. We're going to use you more in storylines. How many times is the WWE going to give this guy a chance? Ric Flair was one of the greatest wrestlers in professional history, and all we remember him now by, really, is what he's done recently. And what he's done recently is pretty much disgrace his legacy, disgraced his image. And it's pretty unfortunate, but you gotta also, you gotta put a little bit of that blame on Triple H as well because he keeps giving him opportunities, and the man keeps failing, and he just is really making his legacy get worse and worse and worse because every time he comes back, he's great for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's Ric Flair at a live event, intoxicated, um, mouthing off to the fans or getting into an altercation. And, when is it going to end? When are you going to say to Ric Flair, enough is enough? So, but anyway, so I sort of feel for a lot of the guys on the WWE roster that have been there, that have worked very, very hard to get themselves up to main event status or even above mid card status. And most of them know that, we know we're never going to get there. And it's got to be very, morale wise, it's got to be really depressing. And so I say this, your contract runs out or comes up, and you're doing the same things in the WWE that you have been for the last so many years, and you've gone nowhere. Look to go to another promotion. I'm sure any one of the other three, well, two right now, but any one of the other three in the near future would glad to have you. And I can honestly see, um, not everybody, but some of these guys that really deserve a shot in the WWE that aren't going to get them will get a shot if they either went to TNA, Ring of Honor, or when Global Force Wrestling ends up firing up their wrestling show. So those are my thoughts on today, the day of the WWE pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. And as always, check out Wrestling News Talk on Facebook. Check out Andre Corbeil, and also on Facebook, check out the Iceman's Wrestling Extreme Facebook page. Uh, you go to that page, give it a like, put some comments down. Um, you know, you got some ideas, you got some pictures and whatnot. You know, just go along with the format, and we'll be happy to, accommodate you. So, everybody, peace out. Enjoy Extreme Rules, and we'll see you next time. This is the Iceman.